Anywhere you go, you belong. Anywhere you say, anywhere.
Okay, what are you saying, people? Welcome back to another live stream. Hope you're all doing well. Hello, Lewis. How are you doing? Yeah, sure thing. USDs are pound USD, Euro USD. We'll get into that. Hope you're all doing well. Make sure you check out the Telegram channel if if you want to. I've got my link there in the description, also in the chat as well. I post my trading setups there throughout the week, so feel free to go check that out if you want to. And if you're looking for a broker, IC Markets, I've got my affiliate link there as well. Feel free to have a look at that. But I'm going to get into the markets today, see what's happening, see if we can get any opportunities coming our way. But yeah, we'll first take a look at pound USD, Euro USD, and USD ZAR there for you. So yeah, Euro USD has been interesting. We saw a nice move to the upside yesterday off the back of some news coming around 3 o'clock yesterday. So we have seen a bit of a push to the upside there for Euro. In fact, we saw it for all the USD pairs. Essentially saw some US dollar weakness, and pound USD, Euro USD, AUD USD, all those pairs went up. USD CAD, USDC CHF, and all those pairs went in the opposite direction. So looking at Euro USD now, again, still very much bullish on this pair, expecting a bigger move to the upside for Euro USD. I'm still expecting that DXY to collapse to the downside. It slowly kind of is. It's taken its time. It's coming to kind of like the last barrier of support, really, which it needs to break through at 95,600. If DXY can take that out, I do think DXY can go a lot further. Like I said, 95, 94, 500. So, in theory, I'm expecting Euro USD to do the same in the opposite direction. Now, Euro USD, same as DXY, is coming to its last level of resistance. You can see here 1.13700, last level of resistance. Price needs to break through this to really see some upside. And first target, if we can break through, is this level here at 1.144. So that's what I'm expecting price to go if we can take out that level. So for me, bullish on Euro USD. It's coming to some resistance now, so again, not the best place to look for buying entries. Maybe if you can pull back a little bit more, and then we can probably get a buy with a bit of a safer position away from that resistance. If not, I would wait for Euro USD to take out this level, retest it, and then we could look for longs into 1.44. Either which way for me, Euro USD, I'm bullish on, and I'm expecting more continuation to the upside. So I notice that resistance now in a range, but I'm not really bothered looking for sells. I'm looking for buys for this one to continue higher. So either for me, I want price to retrace back down, form another higher low where I can get involved, away from that resistance, so I can take some profit before getting there. Maybe even get the trade to break even or something like that. Or I'd wait for price to push up one more time, break through the level, which is 1.37, 1.138. If we can break through that, great. Come back for the retest and continuations up into 1.144. So yeah, either way, bullish on Euro USD, but we're trading at some key resistance now, which could in fact actually send us down before we go up. So I wouldn't buy into it just yet, and the price action is not looking the best either. Pound USD on the other hand is looking not too bad. This one again, another strong push to the upside as well. We did find some support around 1.35700. Price pull back into that, very strong push to the upside again off the back of that news announcement yesterday. So we've seen some more upside. We've taken out this key level of resistance and support at 1.36, which needs to break. And I said for the week, I'm looking at pound USD getting into 1.365 and then potentially 1.37. We've just come short of 1.365, but I kind of consider that price getting there. It doesn't have to be completely perfect, but we have seen some upside. Price is now seeing some downside. So again, for me, like I said, pound USD is still very much in a bullish structure, momentum. Everything is still pointing up for this one. And I said I would only, if I just made it a little bit thicker, I would only get out, I would only look for shorts if price can get out of this channel here, break through the low channel, and then I'll look for shorts to take them further. As of right now, price is still trading within that channel. It's coming to the highs of the channel, to be honest. So, expecting some retracement to the downside. We did see some of that yesterday. But yeah, for me, pound USD still bullish. Going to see how price reacts with this level now at 1.36. Nice psychological level and key level support resistance. See if that can hold a support. If it does, that could be a nice place to go long and see some upside into 1.37 potentially, or 1.365 probably the much safer bet. Either which way, I'm still bullish on pound. I'm still bullish on pound. DXY I'm still bearish on. So for me, I still see this going up unless we see a break of that channel. Then I'll probably switch my buys. Weren't short on USD CHF. Would you hold or close? Yeah, I'm currently still short on USD CHF as well. I got short in around about on the close of this candle, so around about here, 92500. So yeah, pretty much the same as you. But no, I'm still in this trade right now. Again, I've just noticed this level here, which price is reacting with. So I have closed some profit here at that level, because price could obviously respect this area and take off in the opposite direction. So I have closed some profit there, but I'm mainly looking for price to come into this level down here for USD CHF. Sorry, I'm mainly looking at price coming down here. So if I was you, you can look to exit if you want, because we're seeing some strong rejection there. I want to see how price maintains that, see if it can hold this level here, because that's some structure that price has just formed. So essentially, if price cannot take that out, that'll be great. I'll stay in the trade. If price comes and takes out that level, then we'll probably see upside continuation, and I'll close the trade at that point. But I'm still looking at price breaking through this level and seeing some downside into 0.91800. So I'm still looking at price getting down here, like I said, potentially even a lot further, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So yeah, I'm still bearish on this one. Again, bearish on USD. We are reacting with that resistance now turn support, so that could give us a move in the opposite direction. So like I said, I recommend taking some partials, but for me, I still see more downside. So I'm going to play it by, I was going to say play it by ear, can't play it by ear. I'm going to look at this one, see how it reacts with that high there, if it does get to it, and if it can respect it, great. I'm still expecting some downside. If it breaks through, probably exit the trade at that point. But yeah, still biased to the downside for USD CHF, but we are at some support, so partials could be a wise decision. Thanks, Lewis, much appreciated, bro, much appreciated. If you are enjoying the stream, leave a like, that is much appreciated. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, join the gang, join the family. But yeah, USD ZAR, we'll take a look at that now as well. USD ZAR, I haven't seen this pair since yesterday, so yeah, USD ZAR still seeing some downside. We came and smashed 15.5, which is what our target was yesterday. We did see some nice upsides. So that could have been some potential entries down the lower time frames. Even 30-minute, the 15-minute could have been some nice entries here to take that down, because we were heavily bearish on USD ZAR after we took out this support. Had a few attempts to go bullish there, failed. Swipe that support, and so we're having a very, very high chance of, if price was to break through this support, very high chance price was going to make its way back down into that support there. It took its time, but it did make it to that support. So yesterday I said 15.5, then 15.4, and 15.2 as the next targets for this one. Again, no real bullish price action here for USD ZAR. I'm still seeing bearish even on the daily as well. So we do have this resistance here, which is 15.1, 15.2-ish. So we'll see how price reacts with that, because for that 15.2 to be tested down here, we do need to snap through that daily resistance turn support. So it depends how price reacts with this level now. If it does hold it and see some bullish price action, then we could turn bullish, and then I'll start shifting my bias to the bullish side of things, and we could start looking for buys and take that higher. But if not, and we maintain that bearish momentum and we snap through, then I'm looking at 15.2 down there. So for me, I'm still bearish on USDZAR. We're coming up to some strong levels of support now, so I wouldn't really be looking to sell. I wouldn't really be looking to sell USDZAR anymore. I want to see some retracement first before taking that down one more time. A little bit of a channel forming there with those wicks. So potentially, if we can see one more upside into the channel, short it back down, something like that. But yeah, USDZAR coming to some support. So if anything, maybe even some buys could be there. Like I said, I'm still bearish on USD, so I'm expecting this level to break and then 1.52 to be tested. So if that's the case, you simply want price to get underneath it and then come back and retest it, and you can look for your sells. But I wouldn't look to sell where price is now. So if anything, there could actually be some buys coming up. See how price reacts to the level. Again, on the hourly time frame, we're still very, very bearish, so there is no buys at all. But we'll see how price reacts with 15.4, 15.2, see if we can hold that. And then, yeah, maybe you can look to buy it up briefly and then look to sell it back down when we do see some resistance. So for me, USDZAR, the next target was 15.4, which looks like price is coming into now. If it holds it, there could be some buys, like I said, bring it back up. But yeah, if it's not like a big impulsive push or strong, engulfing candle on the daily, price will probably come back down. So we'll find some sells again to take it further to 15.2. So that's how I'll play USDZAR if I was looking to trade it. No problem, Jamie. Happy to help, bro. Hey Cartel, how are you doing? I am well. Plan to sell pound JPY. What are your thoughts? Sure thing, we'll take a look at that. I hope that was clear for you, Lewis. If not, just let me know. Pound JPY. So yeah, pound JPY coming to some nice resistance here, as you can see, at 157,200. So yeah, if we can hold this, we can see some downside. Again, like I did say yesterday, I'm still quite bullish on pound JPY. I'm still looking for potential price to come up into these areas. Again, it doesn't have to right off the bat. You can obviously see some downside, do whatever, but I do think price eventually will make its way to 158. So for me, I'm actually looking for the buys for pound JPY, but I want price to either break through this and then look for the retest, or see some downside back into this support. And then I'll buy it back up. So I'm bullish on pound JPY, so I'm not interested in the sells. But we are in a nice area, 157,200, where price has evidently giving us a lot of reactions where potentially we could see some downside. So if you're looking to short pound JPY, it does make sense. I'm just bullish on the pair, so I'm not really looking for sells. I know it's at a really nice resistance, but it's not really a move that I'm interested in. So if we can hold this, then yeah, we can see some downside. Maybe not as strong as that, but we can see some downside. The fact that we had such a strong move and price just came all the way back up instantly is telling me that the sells will be short-lived. So if we do see the market sell off again, I'm not expecting it to be too aggressive or to be too violent. Again, if we do come back here, brilliant. There will be some nice buys. But yeah, could be some nice sells there, but just be a little bit careful, because daily, weekly and monthly, all the high time frames basically are showing signs of bullish behavior. So do be careful. You'll be shorting against the higher time frame trends. But yeah, we're perfectly good level, and essentially, three things can even happen. Three things can happen at a level of resistance or support. Price can reject it and come back down. Price can either have a false break and then come back down, or price breaks it and continues to goes up. So 1 in 3 chance of price coming down. So price action there on that hourly is looking all right. I'm not a fan of these wicks to the downside here. It looks like we might be pushing back up into this level, which could be a good thing actually, because if that happens and we see some more rejection, that could be a nice sell confirmation to take it back down. But yeah, we will have to see with that one. No problem, Carter. Happy to help, bro. Happy to help. Yeah, we'll take a look at gold as well for you. Okay, so gold. So yeah, gold we've seen actually quite an aggressive move to the upside, which is very, very interesting. I was expecting gold to slowly claw its way to the upside and then roll over, but we've seen quite a big push. And again, I'm rethinking it now because I'm quite bearish on the DXY. And if I'm expecting the DXY to collapse to the downside in the next few days, then, you know, theoretically I should be expecting excuse me, my throat's really dry today. I should be expecting gold to break to the upside because, as you know, they're negatively correlated. So if gold's coming down, I mean, if DXY is coming down, gold should be moving up. So maybe one of my biases is actually incorrect with this, with either gold or the DXY, because, you know, if I'm expecting DXY to come down, I shouldn't be expecting gold to come down as well. So I'm a little bit hesitant looking to go short. This is where I did plan to go short for gold, but because it's such an aggressive move and what I expect with the DXY, I'm a little bit hesitant to go short for this one. I'm going to see how gold develops. I'm not going to short it straight away. If I see a lot more rejection, then I'll probably will go short. But as of now, not too sure. And again, we still do have a very key level of resistance here at 1812. You can see that held the market really, really nice. And we've actually broken above that, so kind of squeezing between this trend line and that level. If we can, you know, hold that level, then there actually will be some nice buys to take this further. If we can snap back below this level, retest it, then I do think gold can come back down to these levels here, then potentially those levels down there at 1764. So for gold, I'm a little bit torn, but I want to see how price reacts with 1812 and see if we can maintain either that support or maintain that trend line. And then I'll go from there for gold. But like I said, if the DXY is going to come down, gold really should be moving up. And we had a very, very strong close yesterday on the daily time frame, back above this level here as well on the daily. So for me, it looks like gold is trying to go bullish, and we could be looking to go and attack again 1830 up down the daily time frame, because we attacked this level last week, I believe, absolutely failed, collapsed the downside. I think price is going to have another attempt this week, or towards the end of this week anyway, back up to 1830. So for me, there's still a little bit of room to the upside. So that's why, again, I'm not really hesitant. I'm a little bit hesitant shorting gold as of right now, especially after a close like that on the daily. You know, you don't often see price come straight back down. Normally a strong close like that, you can see the following days kind of push up as well, following that bullish momentum. So yeah, for me, gold, I think 1830 we could be coming back to test. So, you know, if you can hold this level here, as support, that could actually give us some nice buys, and, you know, a trend line break as well could open the doors to 1830. So yeah, that's how I'm thinking about gold. We could actually be turning bullish for this one. Again, shorts, because we're at the trend line, does sort of make sense, but it's just not the best setup there is, so I'm not that keen to take it. But yeah, I'm expecting DXY to drop, and I'm looking at gold potentially coming to 1830 again. So yeah, if anything, buys will probably be your best bet. Yeah, buys will be your best bet, but again, it's not the clearest. I mean, if you look how gold's moving over the past few days, it's kind of just a little bit up, down, so a little bit difficult to trade in terms of direction, but I think 1830 is our next bet. I mean, what you guys saying for gold? Are you looking for buys? Are you looking to sell it? You're not touching the pair? You know, let me know. Because for this one, again, a little bit torn, but I think I'm favouring more the buys. But again, I'm not 100% confident on anything right now for gold just yet. So again, I'm not looking to get involved with the pair buys or sells. But I'm just letting you guys know that potentially 1830 could be our next bet for that one. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I've got a few pairs that I have my eyes on. Again, I have pound CAD. I was looking at pound CAD yesterday. Didn't manage to get into a sell for this one, and as you can see, it is falling out of the sky right now. So a little bit gutted with that, with pound CAD, especially when you see trades move like this. and you're looking to get into them, you didn't manage to, and then you see it move in your favor. But I was trying to look for break and retest of this level here, never came back to revisit it because I was too skeptical getting short here, because price was actually resting on top of that level, putting some wicks into that. So I wasn't trying to get into a short there, but I was hoping price would come up, retest that, and then go down and maybe catch a short on the lower time frames. But yeah, didn't manage to. But that's a very, very nice drop there for pound CAD. Had that failed bullish momentum there, and since their price just reversed and came to the downside very aggressively. So yeah, yesterday I said my target was 1.71. We smashed that. And I do think pound CAD's actually getting ready to really collapse. Yesterday I was saying that pound CAD, I do think it's coming all the way back down into this support there. So it's not the worst thing in the world missing that trade, because if my analysis is correct and if my bias is correct, we still got about 400 pips to go to the downside, and I don't have to short right at the top there. I can short some in the middle. As long as that price does hit that target, there's still a very, very long way to go. So not too fast with that. And like I said, if I go in the weekly time frame, we've had a very, very aggressive sell-off here, and I'm expecting this here to be our next lower high for another sell-off to the downside. You can see all those wicks coming into this area. So yeah, pound CAD for me, I do think it's going to come right back down to 1.67. So yeah, there's still a long way to go for this one. You're going to see how pound CAD plays out for the rest of the day, see if we can get some retracement and get back into some sells. Either which way, I think it's coming. Okay, looking for sells with gold. Fair enough, Lewis. We'll see how that plays out. Again, like I said, I'm not 100% on anything with gold yet, so I'm not going to be looking to get involved just yet. Oh, do you have CPI today? Thank you, Cartel, because I had no idea we had that. To be honest, I haven't actually checked the news, so I should probably go and do that. Okay, yeah, we do. We do have some news coming out later. For USD, so yeah, do watch out for that. We have some USD news at 1:30 GMT. That could have an impact on some of these pairs coming up later. Yeah, gold could be affected by that as well. So again, maybe it might be smarter to wait for that news to come out and then trade after when things have settled. Or you can be a little bit brave and go for it sooner. Again, completely up to you guys. I'm currently in a USD pair, and if everything goes to plan, I'll still be in that trade with the news as well. So yeah, I'll be seeing how this one reacts to that, unless if price of course breaks through that that level that I just highlighted. If price does break through that, then I'll look to exit the trade, because at that point we're making higher highs, and that's not how I want to be selling the pair. Price should be breaking support, holding resistance, but yeah, we're coming to this resistance here, and price is still struggling to break through. So yeah, if we maintain that and snap through that level above, I'll exit the trade. But I'm still hoping we can break through that and open up the doors to some nice sells. It could be a scenario where UCGF wants to make another move up first before it does drop, which is completely fine. That's up to the pair. Essentially, if we can hold this resistance on the 4H time frame, I'm still bearish bias. If it goes and breaks through, then I'll quickly change my bias to bullish and looking for price to move up into this level here, complete the range. Really nice range there. We collapsed the downside, never gave us a retest of that level up there. So if we can break through this resistance, we should have a fairly clean move back to those highs up there. So yeah, if UCGF does want to go and break through that, I'll quickly change my bias to bullish. But if not, we maintain that I'm still bearish bias until we get back down to these lows. So we'll see how this one plays out. Yeah, 130. Yeah, we'll take a look at US30. Hey David. No, I use my own capital to trade with. But yeah, sure, we'll take a look at US30. So yeah, US30, we did actually see that upside that we were looking for yesterday. Well, we did actually see a move to the downside first though, so yeah, that was not expected, but we did see that break to the upside. So essentially yesterday I said, if we can break out of this channel, I'm looking at US30 seeing a lot more upside, because on the daily time frame, we're still holding this resistance turn support. So you can see essentially we're just having a break and retest of this 36 area. So resistance there, taken across, now acting as support. And you can see we're just holding that with those 2 wicks, almost kind of like tweezer bottoms or something like that. So yeah, I do think we can see some upside now for US30. We've broken out that channel. I think this was like a false sell-off there. So prices kind of just sold off there to get some people trapped in some sells, and then just pushed in the opposite direction very, very aggressively. So it's kind of like a smart money concepts, people that trade that, they'll call it like a sell to buy, something like that. I just call it a false break, essentially. We've sold to the downside, big push up, broken out the channel. So yeah, I think US30 now, if we can find some support, this resistance would be nice. We're so far holding that. Price action not the best though, didn't quite engulf that previous candle. Maybe could wait for another candle closure, but essentially we're looking for a higher low, because I do think US30 can see some upside now, and targets would just be these highs here on the left. So this high here, then we'll be looking at that next high there, and then maybe we can push it a lot further, so and so, and I'll be expecting US30 to slowly push through those levels. So yeah, US30 bullish on, just looking for that higher low to form and push on. UAD, sure thing. Would you attempt MF? No, not really. Again, I'm not really looking to get involved with those companies, so no, I wouldn't. Again, there's people that have done those, so you can go speak to them about that, but me personally, no. So yeah, not the best person to speak to about that. Okay, so EUR/AUD, well, this pair is looking bearish, but overall it's very, very choppy, I do have to admit. I think your best bet with EUR/AUD would be if price can get outside of this consolidation, just because it can be a little bit difficult to find some good trades in that area. But I do think it looks like price could be getting ready to roll over and see another move back into these lows, because if you can see price is kind of putting these lower highs in, that could be another one, and we could just see that kind of roll over back down into these lows. So yeah, that could be on the cards, but I'd say for that to be a lot more likely to happen, we do need to break out this consolidation to the downside. But EUR/AUD slowly looking like it's trying to turn bearish. Looking at that price action in a bit more detail on the hourly, you can see it's kind of like a unorthodox head and shoulders here, with the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder, and price is kind of trying to break through the neckline, which would be here. And essentially what head and shoulder is just price now putting in a lower high in a bullish trend. But yeah, the clean setup would be waiting for price to take out this support, and then catch it on the retest would be the best bet. Then getting some sales to take this further. So for me, EUR/AUD would have a bearish bias in this one because of the structure in the market and how it's moving. But to get a cleaner setup, I'll definitely wait for price to snap through that support, or potentially push to the upside one more time, and then take some sales, because then you'll be selling at resistance rather than selling into support. Will make a whole lot more sense to get involved. So wait for that support to break, and I do think 1.55800 could be a nice area to come and take profit at. Of course, you don't have to look for the whole move because that is quite a big move. That's about 174 pips, so don't have to look for the whole thing. But EURUD is looking like it's getting ready to sell off, but it does have that last level. It does need to break. It does need to break before we really do see some downside. But yeah, it's looking fairly bearish. So if we can take out that 1.57400 support, I do think we can really push on. Just take a look how the other pound pairs are doing. Pound NZD, pound AUD kind of still consolidating here, so overall not seeing too much for those pairs. Again, I was looking to go short for pound NZD at this high here, but price hasn't really given me too much to get short with. It's kind of just like slowly trying to break through. I did say yesterday, if we do break through that, then this level up here is where I'm expecting pound NZD to head to if we do break through that resistance down the left. So yeah, pound NZD is not moving the best. Wow, my mouse is lagging. Yeah, I don't know if pound NZD is moving the best because I did highlight this channel here that price is moving yesterday. I said if we can break through that, we could get some nice sells, kind of a break out that channel, a pullback, and then get some nice sells to the downside. But yeah, it's just not moving the best. Really, it's kind of lacking momentum. It's looking like it might try and move to the upside again, actually. So we need to snap through this to see some downside for pound NZD. If not, then like I said, the target up here, 2.025, is probably where price can go before seeing a big sell-off. I do think pound NZD though could be getting ready for a bigger sell-off, because if you do look at this one on the daily, it's seen a lot of bullish momentum and it hasn't had too much retracement. It had some slight consolidation over here, but other than that, I haven't really seen much retracement ever since we took off all the way from down here at 1.88. So this one is due some downside, so that's why I'm not really interested in the buys. Even if it does break through this and move up to there, I'm not really looking for the buys. The sells are the bigger trade. So when the market does turn bearish, I'm happy to look to get into some sells and look to take this one further to the downside. But so far no evidence yet, so I think I'll be waiting for something like this to happen, a little higher, then get short. Pound AUD, its brother, saw moving the same. Essentially still kind of holding on to support here. Again, for this one, I do think some sells could be coming up nicely. You can see how the daily's starting to show some wicks. We're coming into a nice level of resistance here. So as you can see, really strong resistance, and we're looking for some downside here. Again, pound AUD for me is still very much a bullish pair. If you take a look at the higher time frames, weekly, monthly, this pair is still very bullish. I'm expecting it, in time to go and take out this high here. So again, this is the daily time frame. Probably will take a few days, maybe a few weeks for that to happen. But I do think this high will get taken out. But I do think we can see some downside beforehand. So I'm looking at this support here because this is where we found a bit of a range here between that resistance and that support. So I'm kind of just taking those levels across. And yeah, I'm seeing if we can come back to retest this level here first and then go bullish. But there is a chance we might just snap through this level, retest it, and then go bullish. So either which way, pound AUD for me, there's a good opportunity coming up. Whether it's the sells back into 1.88 or the buys back into those highs up there, there is some sells. There could be some nice sells or buys coming up. Really, pound AUD, how it's moving, again, fairly corrective, borderline consolidation. Really, it's slightly trending to the upside. I can draw this kind of channel here. So again, similar to pound NZD, kind of you see that breakout to get those sells in. But yeah, if we do, I would happily look to short the pair. We're kind of just squeezing between this trend line here, So we'll kind of see what happens. Do we snap to the upside or do we break to the downside? Hard to tell when price is moving like this, but you know, we'll see. We'll see. If we get a little high, that'll be good for some shorts. Pound JPY, 1HR analysis short, no problem. Okay, so yeah, pound JPY, we're pushing back up into this resistance here. So yeah, I was speaking on pound JPY earlier, and I was saying we're at 157,300, and I said some nice sells could be coming up from here to take it to the downside. And if that is the case, you know, this is the area to do so. However, the price action is not looking the best. It's looking a little bit choppy. So I said if the price action gets better, we see some better rejection, sales could look good here, and you know, targets would be down here, 156,300, somewhere around here, to take profit. So essentially, it looks like we're trying to push through this resistance again. We're having another attempt to try and push through. Like I said, for me, I'm still very bullish on pound JPY. The daily, the weekly, the monthly are all showing signs of bullish continuation. So I'm not really trying to go against that. You know, as a swing trader who potentially could hold the trade on for multiple days, I wouldn't really try and short pound JPY, knowing that the bigger move is probably with the bulls. So yeah, I'm not trying to short this one until, in fact, we get to 158 up there. So if we can get to this level up here, that's why I look to try and short it. So I'm looking at price making one more push up first and then coming down. So I wouldn't short from here. But if we do find resistance, then you know, there could be a nice trade. So essentially, we're looking bullish into this level here. If price can, you know, deplete this momentum and then see a strong reaction back down, so we see a nice, I know, shooting star, bearish engulfing, that could be a nice signal to go short with something like this. Stop loss just above the high, and then targets down there. So that could be a nice trade coming up for pound JPY. If not, then if we break through this, I'm looking at buying into 158 there, something like that, into 158. So yeah, that's how I'm looking to play this pair. Either break above, retest, and 158 will be the target, or we hold that level and we see some downside. So far, we haven't had enough information what's going to happen yet. So I'll keep an eye out on the next candle, because this is about to close in about 58 seconds. So that's going to close fairly bullish. So if that momentum can deplete and we see a nice bearish coming right back down, that could be a signal to short it. If not, and that candle just breaks through, looking for that retest and then looking for a trade, something like that to the upside. So yeah, that's how I'll play pound JPY. So I trade monthly, daily, 1 hour as my time frame. Silver's looking very bullish. Okay, I haven't actually looked at silver in a while, so we'll see what silver's doing these days. Okay, so silver, interesting. Okay, so straight off the bat, I can see it's holding onto a key level of support here at 22.2. So we've got key support here. We wicked into it once, held that as support. This price action is showing signs of a false break there. Snap below, came straight above, trying to creep below, and now we're holding on to it. So yeah, gold can go bullish potentially. It can go bullish potentially. Not gold, silver. Silver can go bullish potentially here, and the natural target would be that high there. We can go a lot further. Because you can see this move gave us a move all up into those highs. So we can go, you know, a lot a lot further, but I'll look for 23.4 as the main area that I would say silver can push into. We've just creeped above this level here, so that could be like a great place to go long actually. See how it's reacting with the hourly. Not the best price action, but it is showing signs of holding. So yeah, for me, silver is looking good to go long actually. And I push into 23.3, 23.4 would be the next logical place I'd expect price to go. So yeah, I do agree with you. Silver is looking bullish here. and naturally I think we can push into 23.3, 23.4 if this price action keeps up, and if we can hold above that, because if we do snap below, we might roll over and come and test 22.2 again. But yeah, we're looking bullish here for silver. Nice price action on the daily, and yeah, if we can stay above that, silver is looking good to push up, and as well gold as well is looking potentially like it might push up. So it is showing signs that gold and silver might be coming into some sync there, and gold and silver do normally make the same moves, slightly different rates and at different speeds, but they do ultimately kind of make the same moves in the same direction. So yeah, I would agree with that one. Silver looking bullish. I think 23.3 is our next stop for this one. We might even do that today, depending, if we can get a good push. Maybe the news could affect it. But yeah, looking good for silver. Looking good for silver. But use monthly, daily, and hourly as your time frames. Interesting. I kind of do the same, to be honest, but I mainly focus on daily, 4H, and hourly. But I will use like the weekly and monthly just to know the overall momentum in the markets, because it does help. It doesn't really affect my trade from trade to trade, because the monthly time frame is such a long time frame. Same for weekly, but it gives you a good scope to know the highs of the monthly, the highs of the weekly, and the lows as well. And see where the overall momentum is in the markets. But daily, 4H, and hourly are the main time frames I spend my most time in, and which I focus to base my trades around. Okay, so I'll take a look at UTC and Chef again, see how this one closed. So this one closes not a shooting star. It closed as a bullish pin bar, the opposite of a shooting star. A hammerstick candle, so it does look like price could be coming back up to attack that resistance there at 0.92400. So I'll see how price reacts with that. Again, here we're showing signs that price is actually holding on to this level now, so that is obviously not a good sign if you're selling the pair. So I'm looking at this one breaking through the support. I'm looking at it coming into this support here, but if it inevitably holds onto this and snaps through that, then I'll exit the trade, because at that point it does look like we'll push back up into that resistance, and there's no need for me to hold onto the trade, whilst already seeing some pips, some profit. There's no point holding the trade coming back against me, and even if it does just come against, just to give another price action signal to come back down, I'll happily just get into another trade and short it down a second time. So yeah, if we do break above that, I would exit the trade, but we are holding on to this level here, 0.92300. So I do want to see price come and break through that. If not, I'll probably get ready to exit the trade. Okay, then this went on scalping, doing daily, hourly, and 1 minute. Then I reverse engineer for day trading. Swing trade, okay, makes sense. Okay, that's interesting. I've never done that before. I've never tested anything on the 1 minute time frame. But I suppose because everything is like in sync, so testing in the 1 minute time frame could obviously give you a lot more setups. You can get testing a lot more, and it's obviously a lot quicker. But yeah, I've never actually done that before. I've never really looked at the 1 minute time frame ever. Yeah, Euro USD still holding on to that resistance there. So yeah, long still not looking good for Euro USD, but like I said to you guys, I'm still overly very bullish on Euro USD. So I'm not interested in the sales. I know we're at resistance now, but I'm not interested in this one coming down. If it does come down, that's better for me, because then it does open the doors to some buys, to take it back higher. But either I'm just waiting for price either to come down, buy it back up, or waiting for price to break through the resistance and then retest, and I'll go long into 1.144. So yeah, I'm not interested in those shorts. Pound seeing some retracement as well. Pound JPY closed bullish. We'll see how the next candle reacts, because if the next candle keeps that momentum up and we push through, then yeah, break and retest and looking for those buys is your best bet into 158. At that point, I wouldn't look to go short at all with pound JPY until we get to 158. And even that, we might even break through as well. USD/JPY, I'm also looking to get short on this one. We are holding beneath this very strong resistance here on the left, which was our previous swing high. So as you can see, swing high, swing low, new swing high. We closed back below this, so this potentially could be seen as a false break. Obviously giving us the new high in the market, but we're still holding beneath this. So essentially, if USD/JPY can hold on to this 115.430 level of resistance, we could actually see a lot more downside. And like I said on my weekly analysis, that if we do hold underneath this, I'm expecting price to come back into this region here around the 114.400 mark. So there's still a lot of downside for USD/JPY. And again, I'm expecting USD weakness, so I'm pretty much just looking to short US dollar against everything really. Obviously I'll look for the best setups and the best currencies to do that against, but at the end of the day, we're already seeing some signs here that this one could come back down. Again, we're coming back to retest this, so if we can hold this as resistance, could be some nice sells coming up here for USD/JPY as well. So I will be keeping an eye out for that. USD CAD broke to the downside. USD CAD doing what I expect it to do. It just isn't giving me the best opportunity to trade it. Wow, trading view is lagging a little bit. Yeah, so essentially we've broken through this support here, so I'm waiting for price to come back and retest it. I did say my target for the week for this one was 1.25, and yeah, it looks like prices are getting to 1.25 now. So unless price is kind enough to come all the way back up, retest this, it looks like there won't be much of an opportunity here for USD CAD. This one's still pushing on, and 1.25 is where I'm expecting price to go. So yeah, which is that support there on the left. So yeah, USD CAD looking very, very bearish. Not much opportunity to short, unless shorting it up here, into that support. Other than that, there hasn't much opportunity to trade it. So yeah, USD CAD, I'm expecting that to push on. Again, USD CAD is absolutely flying, falling, but USD CHF is taking its time. So obviously CHF is a lot more weaker than CAD. You can see that by CAD CHF probably pushing up very, very aggressively. Yeah, as you can see there. Yeah, I've noticed that as well, David. Again, that's pretty much what a head and shoulder is, to be honest, David. I noticed that as well. Like, say for example, you've got a level here that price is holding. Then sometimes it will have the fake out, come back and retest, and that kind of price action is a head and shoulder, with the left, the head, the right, and the retest and the dump. And that's how you can get really, really powerful head and shoulder patterns when that happens, when price holds a level, fakes it, comes back and retests. It's a very, very powerful pattern, especially on the higher time frames like the daily. because when it happens on the daily, you can ride that and really have a nice swing for a few days. And in fact, that's what kind of happened with silver on the daily chart. It formed that support there. It formed that support there on that 22.2. Had the fake out, came back, retested, and as you can see, a really big candle, not big candle, big push to the upside, and essentially it was just a head and shoulder pattern with the left, the head, the right shoulder. And yeah, that's essentially what a fake out is. It's the head is always the fake out, and the shoulders is the support that price faked out of. So yeah, very powerful pattern, and I do try and incorporate that quite a lot into my trading. But yeah, I do agree with you there, if that's what you meant, of course. But fake outs in general, if you can master that, very powerful pattern, because that happens across all time frames. And even fake outs of momentum, I'm starting to notice a lot as well. Like sometimes you see a lot of bullish momentum, it will die out, and price will go the opposite way. So like here, for example, you can see the bullish momentum here. That's kind of like a fake momentum, because it hasn't really faked out of a level, but we've seen the bullish push here. Again, a lot of people will be looking to buy into this, and then the real momentum, the bears step in and comes all the way down. So yeah, that's kind of like a fake momentum, which I've seen quite a lot. But yeah, anything fake, really very powerful. Gold AUD, okay, interesting. I have never looked at that pair. Gold AUD, okay, we'll see how this one's, okay, interesting. I'm just seeing the bigger picture here, so very bullish. I'm seeing a lot of upside, so okay. Yeah, okay, this one's still very much in a bullish time frame, bullish structure here. It looks like it's finding support here that it's going to break through, and it looks like it's giving us slightly like a bowl shape here, and it looks like it's getting ready to push on. So I do think for this pair, slowly gain that momentum. I think we're going to come back and attack these highs here at 25.70. So yeah, I do think more upside for this one. 25.70 is looking good. We're kind of getting that kind of shape. That price is slowly gaining momentum to the upside. So that is where I'll be expecting price to go into. Looking for setups to trade this, where it gets a little bit tricky, because again, this is kind of just consolidation. Difficult to find, good setups there, unless price comes all the way back down to that support. I don't think it will, but if it does, great place to buy, of course. We found support here, which price came back to retest again, kind of like another head and shoulder setup there, like the left shoulder, the fake out, the retest, and we've seen some upside. So yeah, essentially you just want to be looking at levels to buy from. We'll come up into this level of resistance here, so if we can snap through that, that could be a nice place to go long, and look for some buys, something like that, at 25.24. So yeah, get above this, because right now price is below it. Get above that 25.24, you can look for some buys and take that a lot higher. Like I said, my target for this one is 25.70, so you do have a long way to go for that one. But essentially bullish on this one. So yeah, pull back. This could be a nice place to look for some buys to take that forward. But yeah, I only really look for buys, and for me, this one I see it pushing up a lot higher. So we've got a target up here. You can look to target again. You don't have to look for 25.70 all the way up there. So so far away target, but essentially that is what I'm expecting for this market, more upside. So yeah, either break and retest of that level, or we see some downside, form a higher low, retesting that kind of level there, and then we can go bullish, something like that. Either which way, I'm looking at more upside. Okay, that's interesting. maybe that's why gold against AUD is a little bit corrective. It's quite choppy. To be fair, I've never really actually looked at this pair, at this market before. Okay, yeah, that's what he said, that's what it ranges. Yeah, Euro pound, yeah, and Euro USD are aware of that correlation. But interesting then, learn something new every day. So yeah, this one looks like it's going to push up. So it does mean that gold will be stronger than AU. Bitcoin's seen some support finally for this one. It's been absolutely, crushing levels, but it's showing some respect to this level here on the left at 40k. I did say in my weekly analysis there could be some nice buys for Bitcoin from this level. Again, I don't expect Bitcoin to go bullish from here, as in bullish back to highs type of bullish. I don't think it will. I think we could actually see price dip below 40k first. Actually, the only way I do see price going bullish is that if we can break out this kind of channel here, because we're having such a tough time. So if we can smash through this, and when I mean smash, I mean strong impulsive move, then yeah, we could see some upside again for Bitcoin. But right now we're really lacking that momentum. So I do think we can see some upside. I do think we can see some upside for Bitcoin, but I don't think it will be anything too crazy. We didn't get the retest of this level here, so I think Bitcoin can see some upside, retest 45k, 46k, then we might come back down again. Have forever to trade it, that is very true. Full margin short at 44k. Wow, fair enough. You're heavy short on Bitcoin. Yeah, for Bitcoin is it's a weird one because this one is not showing me much signs that it's about to continue bullish. I do think it will eventually, but as an analyst of the market, analysis of price action, we're not really seeing much evidence that Bitcoin is getting ready to turn bullish. I am looking at this from a weekly perspective as well, and you can see price is kind of giving us that head and shoulder vibe as well, with that shoulder there, the head, and the retest of that. So yeah, we could even push into 30k. I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin comes into these lows here. 30k, 32,500. I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin's there, and this could turn into a really key area of support where Bitcoin could go bullish again, or if it breaks it, we could see a lot more downside. But yeah, looking at the immediate price action on the lower time frames, looking at the daily, the 4H, yeah, it's not looking too good. So for me to go bullish on Bitcoin, I want to see price break out of this trend line, and then I'll kind of maybe turn my bias bullish, and we'll see how price is moving. But I do think Bitcoin could see some upside. It never came back to retest that level, so potentially could see some upside to 45k. But yeah, Bitcoin not looking good for some upside for the long run. I mean, we could see some upside. It's looking a little bit bullish there on the daily, so we could see a few candles going to the upside, but I don't think it's the big move yet. But yeah, I've still seen that. We took a look at the DXY. Still seeing that dollar weakness again. I do think it will push through that level, to be honest. I do think it will push through. Okay, so you're going to wait for the US dollar news. That's at 1:30 GMT, so yeah, in about 2 hours. Okay, yeah, makes sense. Wait for everything to settle first after the news, then you can make a better, more informed decision. I think that's probably what I would have for the other USD pairs as well. But yeah, for me, I'm still bearish on the DXY. From a price action point of view, I do think price will break this low and go a lot further. I do think it will break the low and go a lot further, but maybe news might push it up first and then it'll come down, or it might just break through. We'll see. And start to think that Bitcoin lags behind Forex. Yeah, sort of. Sometimes it lags, but sometimes it's a bit ahead as well, I find as well. Sometimes it's ready doing the move that I think the other USD pairs and Forex will do. But then, yeah, I can see sometimes it is behind as well. And a bit slower. Yeah, so it's not looking the best there. USDC Chef is sort of just holding on there. I'm still looking at this one breaking that support. Hopefully it can do that. The only worry about this one is that the news, it could push price up against me. So I potentially could just close the trade now and just protect myself from the news. But again, normally in this situation, I normally just stay up through the news, because I find like 70% of the time, price normally goes in my direction. So it's more beneficial for me actually to stay in through the news, not to enter when there's news. But if I'm already in a trade like a few hours before or the previous day, it makes more sense for me to stay in the trade, because normally it does push in my direction. But yeah, the fact that it's holding onto that support like that doesn't fill me with too much confidence, but maybe the news is what is needed to break through. Hey Sharif, how are you doing? Took some pound JPY buys at 8 AM today, 157.411. I'm doing them away. Lost 6 pips. Okay, we'll take a look at that. So pound JPY buys at 157.411. 157. Yeah, I think with that one, yeah, you're kind of buying into some strong resistance. So it'll probably be difficult to see price continue in your direction. Because I suspect you're probably buying on the lower time frames, because your stop loss is 6 pips and where you bought at. But if you look at the higher time frames, that sometimes can help with the lower time frames as well, because if you're saying you're getting involved in your trades in the 5-minute time frame, if you're buying into a 4H zone or an hourly zone on the 5-minute time frame, it might look good, but then it could fail quite quickly if price does respect that high time frame zone. But if you're buying from a support of a high time frame area, then it could probably make a lot more sense, and then potentially price can even go a lot further in your direction. So I think with this one, because I'm looking at the level you bought from, 157.411 is at the high there. So if I just move all of this out of the way, price has cleared this level, but at the overall level, if I take that across, it's kind of still involving this resistance here as well. So I'd actually expand that level a little bit, just to take into account this high and that high there as well. So even though it's trading above that high, it's kind of taking into account this whole level. So the level hasn't really been cleared yet at 157.411. So it was a good buy in terms of what you're looking for, because you're looking for the break of that high and for price to continue. So that makes perfect sense. Just going forward, maybe take into account the higher time frame levels. So kind of draw your resistance or your support maybe on the 4H or the hourly, and see how price is reacting with that, and if it's actually cleared it or still holding it. But in terms of the theory of the trade, break and retest essentially, I think is what you probably were trying to do. That makes complete sense. But again, you're not going to win every trade as well. Okay, so you're going to expect gold to fake down and then go bullish. Yeah, I do think gold can go bullish as well. It might do that fake down first because it's holding onto this trend line here on the left, which will be inviting some sellers here. Again, personally for me, I think gold is coming back up into 1830. We tried to break that level last week. We failed to do that. But I think this week we're going to try and attempt to go and break it again. Whether we do that, again, I have no idea. But I think we eventually will, to be honest. But I think we're going to have another attempt at 1830 to try and break through it maybe. But yeah, overall, I think gold is going bullish. Not the best place to buy it, but maybe you're right with that news. It might fake down. The price action might give us a little bit of a wick there, and then we could see that continuation. But either which way, I think 1830 is the next stop for gold. Hey MJ, how are you doing? Yeah, we'll take a look at NZD-JPY and Euro-JPY. You in UTC-CHF buy, floating at entry news again. Oh, you're in a UTC-CHF buy. Fair enough. I'm actually in a UTC-CHF sell. I'm up against you, the Holy One of Israel. I'm up against you because I'm actually in a short in UTC-CHF. But yeah, it is actually hanging on to that support. So I'm actually, if price was to break through this level here, I would actually close the trade. But I'm still expecting price to break through some of these levels. I'm still expecting that dollar weakness, so I'm still holding on to that trade. But yeah, I'm actually in a UTC-CHF short. The pool of liquidity 1818 keeps growing. Yeah, gold is still holding on to that level there. We'll see how it develops because that's the wrong place. We'll see how it develops because price, around here, will be attracting both the buyers and the sellers. So again, I think that news will fake some of them out. Probably most of them out, to be fair, if they have tight stop losses, and then we could be seeing some nice buying opportunities potentially once everything settles. But yeah, there will be both buyers and sellers trapped in that right now. But yeah, NZD-JPY and Euro-JPY, we'll take a look at those pairs, see what's happening. Where is NZD-JPY? There it is. Beautiful. Okay, so NZD-JPY for this one. Again, I do think we can see more upside. I'm looking at this pair. We tried to see some downside over the past couple of days, but essentially we're holding on to this resistance here, turn support. So I'm looking at price going bullish again. Again, I did analyze this one yesterday. I wasn't sure if it would roll over or find bullish or find support. And now I'm a bit more confident. I do think we'll see some upside for NZD-JPY. As of right now, we're holding back above this support here. So you can see really nice support down the left, taking that across. Price is now holding that as support again. So I do think we can actually push bullish here for NZD-JPY. A little bit corrective, probably not the best price action in the world to buy into, in my opinion. But I do think price is trying to go bullish. So we might see a brief push to the downside, maybe kind of respect these wicks here on the left and then go bullish. But I'm looking at NZD-JPY coming back up into these highs at 79.100. So it's up to you how you want to trade that. You could probably even wait for a break of this structure here and wait for price to come and retest that. Again, up to you how to trade it, but either which way, I'm looking at NZD-JPY coming back to 79.100. I know we do have some bearish structure here with that push, the pullback push, but I do think that's short-lived because you can see that the bullish, the pullbacks are getting more, what's the word? Again, stronger. So I do think that bearish momentum is slowly dying. Now I'm looking at price coming to 79,200 again, and maybe even a higher high as well. So yeah, bullish push on NZJPY, looking at that 79,200 mark. Euro JPY similar as well, expecting this one to push on. Price is holding above a very key level of resistance here on the left at 130,600. So price is holding above this. I'm expecting more continuation here. Pretty much overall, I'm quite still bearish on the yen. I'm still expecting most JPY pairs to be heading up. Probably every JPY pair apart from USD JPY. That was a little bit different, but yeah, I'm expecting this one to push on as well. I do think we've had that push. This is retracement, and I do think we can go bullish from here. So I'm personally looking at Euro JPY to see some downside. It might not, but I'm looking to see if it will come back into this support, come back, form a higher low for me, and then go bullish. So yeah, I'm looking at this pair pushing up. So yeah, Euro JPY pushing back to highs, in my opinion, and probably might take that out as well. So not interested in sells, just waiting for some pullbacks for these pairs to push on. But yeah, I hope that helps. MJ, I was about to call you Euro JPY. But yeah, I hope that helps. I'm just waiting for pullbacks. I'm looking for buys for both of them. Looking at the 30-minute time frame, was expecting the London volley to push up. Okay, that makes sense. No problem, Sharif. I mean, yeah, just the whole level, the way I draw my levels anyway, the whole level for pound JPY, wasn't really cleared yet. Even if we just look at it from a 4H point of view at just that high there, if I take that across, you can see that candle there pushed, it wicked above the high and then pulled back down. So even that 4H candle didn't clear it. So, if that happens, there's a good chance we'll see some downside. Obviously, we can go break it next candle, but we'll probably see some downside first as we react with the level before we go and break it. So, again, the trade made sense. It's just that the market couldn't break through that level, so it did see some downside against you. Oh, the sentiment's overall bullish on gold. Interesting. Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, the news could take it the opposite direction, which is kind of a good thing for the buyers because it could provide the liquidity needed to move up. We could spike lower, grab liquidity to the downside, and then move up. But again, we'll see, because I'm not trying to guess what the news will do. That's just stressful. I'll just wait to see what the news will do. Wait for the dust to settle, because I do think there'll be buys for gold. But it's not looking the best now. I wouldn't jump into some buys now. No problem, MJ. Happy to help. In buys for both. Wicked. Nice. They could probably go a lot further as well, so potentially you could leave some to continue. Nice. I mean, it's good when to be fair, everyone shares the same bias, because it gives everyone a lot more confidence, even me myself as well. Because sometimes I'm a little bit torn for some pairs. I can see reasons for a pair to push bullish. I can see reasons for a pair to push bearish. Example was gold. Early in the stream, I wasn't as confident for the buys, but as I'm looking at it more, I can see those buys more and more and more. So yeah, that's why it's always good to speak to people, because sometimes they'll point out things that you didn't see. But yeah, more than happy to help. So yeah, overall, my current trade is just moving sideways. So I think it's just going to wait for the news, and so am I, to be honest. At the end of the day, it's just a trade. Yeah, so any pairs I'm focusing on later today, there is a few. Gold as well, if that develops a little bit better. I don't like the price action as it is right now, so if it stays like that and it just flies off, I won't be bothered about getting into a trade. But if that does develop, maybe face the downside, put some wicks in, that could be looking for some entries to take gold higher. USD I'm seeing if we can get a nice bearish reaction for this one. It is a little bit choppy, so maybe if you can get a strong reaction breaking through that trend line, I'll be more than happy to get into some sells. So I'm looking at this one pushing a lot further to the downside. Like I said, 14,500, 114,500 I can see price getting to, and it's at a really nice level of resistance, and I'm just trying to see if it can hold that and then fall over basically. It's got a really nice trend line here as well. Price hasn't really tested it over there, but essentially, if it doesn't break through, collapse to the downside, I'll be more than happy to get into some shorts. So yeah, use JY. I'll be looking to get involved there, into some shorts there. Any NZD pairs, not really. NZD CAD actually, it snapped through that level. If we can come back to retest it, then I'll get into some sells. Again, for this one, I said my target for the week would be 0.84. Well, 0.85 first, then 0.84 500, and we passed or at 0.85 right now. So I'm seeing this one going to 0.84 500, then potentially 0.84, because this one I can see going a lot further to the downside. I'm looking at this one coming into areas of support down here, so I can see a lot more downside for NZD CAD. Do you have a current trade running? Can you explain the logic behind that trade? Yeah, I do have UCCHF running right now. So yeah, UCCHF, I got into a sell after this candle closed here. I was looking at this one yesterday because essentially UCCHF for me is kind of in a bearish market. It's a weak bearish market, but it's still bearish. We've had this push here. We've had consolidation, aka the retracement, and we had a continuation. So I'm looking at price retracing again to turn bearish and roll over. So I'm looking at the market selling off again. I'm looking for another bearish leg, and we're coming up into the highs of this consolidation, and for me this is the level here that price eventually did turn bearish from. So we have to respect this level here if the market wants to turn bearish again. Obviously we can false break it, come back in, but essentially we want to hold that level, which is 0.92600. So yeah, if price can hold this, I'm looking at it come bearish again. If we break through, then I'm looking at price to come there. So yesterday I was monitoring price at that level, seeing if we can respect it, and then if we did, I would get into some sells. We came into the level there. That was overnight on Monday, I believe. Overnight on Monday, we came down Asian session, and then we came back up to respect that level one more time because it looks like price was going to continue bullish, but it failed. We saw the news come in. Price gave me a really nice confirmation candle there, essentially a double top there. One high, the second high. I got into the trade there, and I'm looking at the push back all the way down here, but I'm not going to look for that push right off the bat. I'm looking just at a push back up into that low, and then I'll see if I can push it further. But that is where I'm trading it to. There is this level here on the left, which price is now holding as resistance, now as support at 0.92300. So if price actually holds on to this, we could actually go bullish. So if we break through that resistance just above, I will exit the trade. If not, and we can hold that resistance, break through that support, fantastic. It should open the doors up for price to come a lot lower into this support, maybe even the lows all the way down there. So there's a lot of downside potential for USDCHF, but right now we're moving sideways above that support. So I want to see if we can break through. Essentially, we've got some news coming up that could be the catalyst. We'll find out. But yeah, that's basically the theory and everything behind the trade. Again, nothing crazy. It's just knowing where potentially the market could go, understanding what levels are important, what levels are not quite important. This here is a very, very important level where we could go bullish or we could turn bearish. So if we're going to hold that, 9 times out of 10, I'll be looking to get into a short. And if we turn bullish now and break back above, then I'll be looking to stick a long on for USDCHF to try and fill that to the upside. So yeah, we'll see how that pans out. No problem, happy to help, man. Happy to help. And yeah, I do have a Telegram channel where I do post my trades throughout the week. So if you want to check that out, feel free to go do so. I've got a link to that in my description. And also if you scroll to the top of the chat, I've got a link to that Telegram there as well. But yeah, so there's a few trades, there's a few pairs that I'm looking at to get involved in. USDJPY is one of them. Nothing right now though. I think I'll probably be waiting until after news to kind of recheck things to see if anything has given me some good confirmations. Because the news is only like 2 hours away, and I don't see much of a point to get in now. And also I'm already in a pair that probably will be affected by the news, so there's no point me jumping into anything. Yeah. Right now, pound JPY is trying to push through this level. Like I said, if it does, I'm looking at pushing to 158. So yeah, break and retest of that level would make the most sense. And 158 would be the target. And this over here, I'm just treating that as a false break of that level. So essentially, this is the resistance I'm focusing on. That's just a false break of the level. But yeah, the next stop would be 158, which is obviously this daily resistance there on the left. That is if we break through, of course, the retest. If not, we could see some downside, but there's nothing there yet. Uh, 0.92729 is your target, okay? We'll take a look. 0.927927. Okay, so you're just looking for price to come back up into that resistance where I'm selling from. Yeah, that probably makes the most sense. Back to highs, essentially. Back to highs. Just following that bullish structure. Yeah, so your trade makes perfect sense. Your trade makes perfect sense. Again, that's one of the beauty things. Is that right? That's one of the crazy things about the market is that you could be trading the same pair and two people have two completely different biases and two different trades, and yeah, and both have, you know, correct, justified reasons of getting into those trades. So yeah, the market could go up, it could go down, and that's essentially, you know, what could happen really. It's either up, down, or it can go sideways. So yeah, if it does break through that level, then probably price will make its way up into your TP if we can take out this resistance here, because this at the moment in time is what sent price down. So if we can take that out, then we should move into your TP. Obviously, if price does break through this, then we'll probably continue to the downside. Are you looking to hold your trade through the news? Because that should be interesting. Yeah, EuroCAD, PoundCAD absolutely flew to the downside, missed those trades there, but like I said, I can see PoundCAD going a lot further to the downside, so I'm not too worried about that one. There will be some sales coming up for this one, but yeah, I'm looking at this one coming 1.68, 1.67, so not too bothered about missing that first push. It was a good push though, 100 pips to the downside. How's Euro USD doing? Yeah, Euro USD still holding onto that resistance. So yeah, still not interested in this one. Want a deeper pullback first. You can see Euro USD is so messy, but when price does this, it means that it's just building up for a bigger move. So although it looks messy and hectic right now, it does mean that when it does finally break out, whether that's up or down, it will give us quite a big move, something like we saw here. I'll be expecting that to happen. Maybe not so aggressive and maybe not as big, but I do think we can see, a hefty move back up. So I'm looking to see if we can catch it. Are you looking to hold your trade through the news, the holy one? Well, CAD JPY is flying. So obviously that's seeing a lot of CAD strength in the market. Again, that's the kind of the benefit of looking at the higher time frames, because looking at this one on a monthly basis, from a monthly point of view, the odds of price going to take out that wick there on the monthly is very, very high. You can see you've had a very nice bullish breakout of this kind of bearish channel here. Price formed a higher low of those wicks, higher low of those with that bearish candle as well. So the chance of the monthly time frame of the monthly candles going to take up that high is very, very high. So taking that information into the lower time frames, like back into the daily, we could potentially expect price to go and take this wick out. So if that's the case, we still got about 100 pips to go to the upside. So I wouldn't really be looking to sell CAD JPY, because I know the bigger move is to the upside, back up into those highs at 93, maybe even further as well. So if there is sells, potentially could take it, but again, I don't want to be holding to that trade more than a day, max a day, because I do think the bigger move is to the upside. And the fact that now we've broken through this level here, I do think if you were to come back and revisit this 91 600, I think that is a great place to look for some buyers and take advantage of that higher time frame momentum on the monthly, on the weekly, and ride that to the upside. Okay, if it drops badly, you're closed. Been since 12 a.m. Okay, so yeah, you're definitely in. Okay, 12 a.m. GMT is that? So you got into in the Asian session, because yeah, it's just been moving sideways for the past 12 hours pretty much. So. Pound CHF, sure thing. We'll take a look at that as well. Again, we're coming up to the last kind of 10 minutes of the stream, so if anyone wants me to take a look at something before the stream ends, be sure to leave it in the chat so we can take a look at it. But I am live again tomorrow as well, so I do hope I see you guys there. But yeah, Pound CHF. Okay, so yeah, Pound CHF, extremely bullish. We've seen that with a lot of the CHF pairs, Pound CHF, Euro CHF, CAD CHF, they've all been flying to the upside. And this one's just hit 1.26, which was my target actually. Once we did take out this resistance, I was looking for price to get to 1.26. And now I do think we can probably push on to 1.26500, which is this high here. So I'm looking at a bit more upside for Pound CHF. We're just taking out this resistance here on the left. And if I take that across, you can see it was support there as well. So it's a very, very key level, this 1.25200 level. And the probability of us now continuing to this level is very, very high. So I know Pound CHF has done a crazy move up, and it's probably very, very tempting to look to sell this one back down. But I'm still very confident that there's still more upside for this one. So even if we do sell off a little bit, I do think price will bounce straight back up. So I think the best way to play this is to look for those buying opportunities rather than sell it, because price will probably make its way to 1.26 500. So there's obviously a strong support here that price is failing to break through. So you can look to buy from here. You can look to buy from here and look to push into 1.265, or you can look to see if price will come back and retest that higher time frame level and then look to buy it back up. Either which way, for me, I'm expecting price to push to 1.265. So that's how you could play pound CHF. 1.265 the target. Again, that is the higher time frame level. All price is already formed the support, because what you often see is if price breaks through a level very, very strongly, sometimes it doesn't have enough to come back and retest it. So it might form a support, where it is and then push on, which potentially could be happening now for pound CHF. We might not get that retest, but if price does come down, I think it's going to go straight back up. So I'm not really bothered about selling pound CHF. But yeah, so I'm expecting 1.265 to be hit. Okay, yeah, GMT. New daily candle. Oh, you live in Birmingham, nice. Wicked, live in Birmingham. Yeah, because people say sometimes on the stream, and I'm not too sure if they're actually from the UK or from a different place. Because yeah, sometimes they say like 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. and that's like, I don't know, London time. So, but yeah, Birmingham, wicked. I'm obviously from London. Yeah, so gold might come back down one more time, which could be a blessing in disguise, because it could open the doors to some longs, or again my bias could be completely wrong and we could actually tank to the downside. That could easily happen if gold wanted to. USJY hasn't done it enough for me there, so not looking to get in. Pound AUD still looking for price to kind of break out of this kind of channel. If it can break that, fantastic. Then we could see price pushing to 1.87800, 1.88, probably even further as well. But I'll probably look just to push it into there. Pound NZD still kind of respecting that channel, so this one does need to break through that channel to see some downside. So yeah, not much there. Euro pulling back there, so yeah, Euro is just holding that resistance. So at this time, it's not looking too good. How's AU doing? AU's kind of just mucking around, really, to be fair. Not looking clear at all. I do think we can see AU push higher. I do think we can, but it's just a little bit messy. This is kind of looking like a channel here, and it looks like potentially price might find resistance and roll over. So yeah, overall it's not that clear. When I don't find the pair clear, again, my analysis might deem a pair to be unclear or not 100%, but someone else might analyze this pair and be very, very certain that price is going to move down, so they trade it. So it's very much each their own, but for me it's not looking 100%. Looks like we might roll over one more time. Okay, nice. I was going to say, I've never seen a name like that on YouTube before. US 100, wow, spiked to the downside very, very aggressively there. Looks like that was just a big fake out of that support, and we could be getting ready for a move higher. So yeah, it looks like we faked out into 1500. Actually not 1500, 15k. Looks like we faked out there, and I do think now, especially with that daily close yesterday, we could be seeing some upside now for US 100 Nasdaq. It looks good. It looks very, very good. Again, yesterday I was saying a lot of these indices were moving in kind of like channels, and I said if you can break out them to the upside, I do think we can reverse. This looks like it just faked lower, so yeah, if price can put in a higher low somewhere, either at that key level or slightly above, then I do think, well, this one's got like one last obstacle in its way, which is that resistance at the top of the channel. But essentially, I think we're going to see a lot more upside now, back up into this level here. So yeah, I'm expecting this one to rip to the upside here. Entries might not be the best now, however, coming into that resistance there, it might push down one more time, it might even come back and retest that daily level. But either which way, not interested in sales, because I'm expecting 16,400 for price to push it up into that level. Yeah, so not seeing much right now. Again, I'm probably going to leave it until after the news, and then I'll probably come back, take another look, see how the news has affected the pairs, wait for things to settle, and then I'll probably make my decision on what I want to do regarding my current trade, or if I want to jump into any other trades as well once everything settles. But as of right now, I'll probably just leave it alone until the news at 1:30 GMT, so about an hour and a half. Let everything go, and then I'll make my decision. But yeah, we are coming up to the end of the stream, so I will do a quick rundown of some of the pairs that I'm looking at, some pairs that I do think could present some nice opportunities, if not today, throughout the rest of the week, and see if we can get some opportunities on those. So pound JPY is definitely one of them. Whether we're getting sales or buys, I'll determine how price reacts with that level. So far, we're pulling back a little bit there. So if we do see now a bearish reaction there, sales will be looking good to take this one lower. And like I said previously, targets will be down here. If not, we break above, then pound JPY for me, pushing up into 158 up there. So sales or buys could be good. Again, I'm favoring more the buys because of the higher time frame. Price action is looking like price will see upside eventually. So, I'm just more focused on the buys to 158. If we get to 158, then I'll probably slowly change my buys to bearish and see some downside. But as of right now, if we do break through this, I think we can push on. USDJPY, we're testing a really nice level on the daily time frame, so maybe if you can break through that kind of counter trend line, I do think we can see a lot more downside for USDJPY. However, nothing much right now. It's still a little bit corrective, still holding that trend line, so it just depends which way price wants to break. It could fluctuate like so, break to the upside or break to the downside, we'll see. But yeah, nothing really much there. USD CAD, I want to see price pull back, so it hasn't hit 1.25 yet. So hopefully we can pull back one more time and then dump. Maybe the news might allow us that. I'll keep an eye on USD CAD, but it might not do that. It might just roll over and hit my TP down there. So we'll see how that develops. And gold as well, I'm looking at price coming down from the higher low and push up into 1830. So We'll see how gold reacts with that, but so far nothing yet. And again, like I said, with news coming up, I'll let these pairs be for another hour and a half, and then I'll come back and analyze and see if we can get anything after that. And if I do, I'll stick it in my Telegram chat. Feel free to go check that out. Got a link to that in my description, or if you go to the top of the chat, I do have a link there. And if you're looking for a broker, IC Markets, I've got my affiliate link there. If you want to go and check that out, feel free to use it. But yeah, guys, it has come to the end of the stream. So I hope you all had a good time, enjoyed the stream, found it useful. If you are enjoying the stream, leave a like on the stream. It does really help the channel out. Subscribe if you haven't already. Join the family. But yeah, guys, do stay safe. We do have some news at 1:30 GMT, so do watch out for that. It's about an hour and a half from now, so do watch out for that. And obviously currently I'm in USDCHF, so we'll see how that gets on. If it does go and break through that level, I'll exit the trade. If it can break through that support, fantastic. I'll look for pushing to that level. But yeah, I'll give you an update on this trade tomorrow during the stream, tell you what happened, how I managed it. But other than that, yeah, hope I do see you guys tomorrow. I am live again tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. GMT, so I do hope I see all of you there. But other than that, have a great day, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.